Good evening. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Jobs for Bahrainis legislation agreed. Brazil's embassy opened in Bahrain yesterday. India allows fully vaccinated travelers from 99 countries to skip quarantine. UAE introduces minimum wage in new labor law. Employees in UAE can work for more than one employer from 2022. News in detail. Jobs for Bahrainis legislation agreed. A new legislation that seeks to prioritize jobs for Bahrainis has been approved by the MPs. The draft national employment law states that all jobs in state-owned companies as well as firms with 50% or more government contribution should be reserved exclusively for Bahrainis. However, if the Labour and Social Development Ministry's jobs bank or the Civil Service Commission's applicants database include no qualified Bahrainis for the role, temporary contracts could be offered to expatriates. The bill would be drafted into a proper law by the government within 6 months and referred to the National Assembly for review. Brazil's embassy opened in Bahrain yesterday. President Jair Bolsonaro officially opened Bahrain's embassy in Bahrain, marking a remarkable progress in the relations between the two countries. In December 2020, President Bolsonaro highlighted the importance of having an embassy in Bahrain that will facilitate business dialogue between the two countries, will contribute to the regional coordination of trade promotion and investment attraction activities, and may favor local performance of other Brazilian bodies involved in activities of this nature, such as Brazilian Trade and Investment Promotion Agency. Bahrain and Brazil have pledged to usher in a new era of ties. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa yesterday praised growing relations between the two nations as he held official talks with Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro at Gudebia Palace. President Jair Bolsonaro invited His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to visit Brazil, stressing the importance of continuous dialogue in further cementing relations and benefiting from the available opportunities. Bahrain and Brazil signed a number of agreements and memoranda of understanding to boost cooperation in a wide range of areas. An agreement of mutual exemption from visa requirements for holders of diplomatic, special and official passports. It was signed by Foreign Minister Dr. Abdel Latif Al-Zayani and his Brazilian counterpart Carlos Alberto Franco. BCCI hails Bahrain's efforts to develop relations with Brazil. Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry Chairman Samir Nas highlighted the kingdom's efforts to develop bilateral relations with the Federative Republic of Brazil. The President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, also lauded distinguished relations with the Kingdom of Bahrain, stressing his country's keenness on expanding economic cooperation, particularly trade sectors of metallurgy, water and food. He stressed keen interest in building a partnership with the Kingdom of Bahrain and exploring economic and investment opportunities, highlighting facilities and open economic environment in his country. Fiscal policies mitigated COVID-19 fallout, says Finance Minister. Finance and National Economy Minister Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa has pointed out that good fiscal policies have contributed to the mitigating the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Sheikh Salman chaired the first session of the 6th Arab Fiscal Forum, which was organized by the Arab Monetary Fund AMF and held remotely with the participation of the International Monetary Fund IMF. Addressing the session, the minister stressed the importance of consultation regarding economic developments and the fallout of the COVID-19, which took a toll on economic sectors, and efforts to mitigate the repercussions of the pandemic in their countries. Albus supports Bahrain's national initiatives to combat climate change with a tree for every employee. Aluminium Bahrain, one of the leading industrial companies in the region, endorsed His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister's recently announced climate change goals and commitment to double the number of trees in the kingdom by 2035. through its planting initiatives, a tree for every employee, to boost biodiversity and fight climate change. BD 100 public school fees proposal for expatriate students approved. MPs yesterday unanimously approved a proposal to force expatriate parents to pay BD 100 if they wanted their children to be educated in government schools. The proposed bill has been referred to the government to draft as a proper law and returned to the National Assembly for review. Bahrain UAE Nano satellite to fly on Falcon 9 rocket. Nano satellite Light 1, jointly developed by Bahrain and UAE, will hitch a ride on the Falcon 9 rocket of SpaceX to the International Space Station next month. The development emerged during a ministerial-level meeting of Bahrain and UAE held at the Dubai Air Show 2021. Leading the talks were Sarah bint Yusuf Al Amiri, UAE Minister of State for Advanced Technology and Chairwoman of the UAE Space Agency, and Kamal bin Ahmed Mohammed, Minister of Transportation and Communications and Chairman of the National Space Science Agency, Bahrain. Built and designed in collaboration between Khalifa University, New York University, Abu Dhabi, NSSA and UAE Space Agency, the nano satellite for monitoring and studying terrestrial gamma ray flashes will get deployed on board the Falcon 9 rocket of SpaceX. Bahrain Bourse launches Trade Quest Challenge for students. Bahrain Bourse BHB has announced the launch of the 23rd edition of Trade Quest Challenge for high school and university students for the academic year 2021-2022. The kickoff meeting was held virtually with all participating students and teams, school and university advisors attending the event, along with the investment advisors who will monitor and coach teams. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. India allows fully vaccinated travelers from 99 countries to skip quarantine. According to a recently updated notification by the Union government, travelers from 99 countries who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 have been exempted from mandatory quarantine on arrival in India. These countries have been listed under Category A in the government notification. The category includes as many as 99 countries including Bahrain, United States, Great Britain, Israel, France, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium, Bangladesh, Finland, Croatia, Hungary, Russia, the Philippines, Qatar, Singapore, Sri Lanka, United Arab Emirates, Turkey and Nepal, among others. India temporarily shuts 5 coal-fired power plants around New Delhi. India has temporarily shut down 5 coal-fired power plants around the capital New Delhi as part of its drive to combat air pollution. According to an order from the Federal Environment Ministry Panel on Air Pollution, the Commission for Air Quality Management has also banned trucks carrying non-essential goods and stopped construction in Delhi and its neighboring cities. In its latest order, the panel said there was a compelling need to ensure that air quality does not deteriorate any further. Pollution levels surged to severe levels this month, with air quality index in New Delhi going as high as 499 on a scale of 500, indicating healthy people were also at risk of developing respiratory illness. We will be back after a short break.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Every piece of jewelry tells a story. Its raw beauty speaks of its natural origins. The brilliant design speaks of unparalleled craftsmanship. Its elegance evokes the passion and energy of those who wear it. At Al Siraj Jewelry, our story, our pride.
Welcome back. Bahrain Indian Club all set for start of International Series Badminton. Wednesday sees the first matches in what should be an exciting return to top-class international badminton action for both the Indian Club and Bahrain as the Bahrain International Series Badminton Tournament 2021 gets underway at the Indian Club's Gudaibiya premises. Many of the more than 200 participating players from 25 countries have now arrived in Bahrain for what will be Bahrain's largest ever international series event, all looking for valuable world ranking points and a share of the US $5,000 prize money with a number of other international tournaments cancelled. Players see Bahrain as a great opportunity to get back to what they do best, top quality, high competitive badminton. There will be 2 days of qualifying matches on Wednesday and Thursday as players took to play their way into the main draws, which are scheduled to take place from Friday to Sunday's grand finals. Score updates, detailing of upcoming matches, and all tournament news will be posted regularly throughout the tournament on the Indian Club's Facebook page, Indian Club Bahrain. For further details regarding the Bahrain International Series Badminton Tournament 2021, please contact the Indian Club reception on 1725-3157. Omani youth ship reached Bahrain. The Omani youth ship yesterday docked at Mina Salman port of Bahrain as part of a voyage across the GCC countries' seaports. Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities Director General of Cultural and Arts Sheikha Hala bint Muhammad Al Khalifa and Omani Embassy Charge d'Affaires Dr. Muhammad Al Balushi and other officials welcomed the vessel. A youth delegation featuring 18 students from the GCC member states and others representing 11 universities in the world are taking part in the voyage and traveling aboard the Omani vessel. UAE introduces minimum wage in new labor law. The new UAE labor law introduces a minimum wage for private sector employees to be applicable from February 2nd, 2022. Article 27 of the Federal Decree Law number 33 of 2021 regulating labor relations will set a minimum wage to be determined and announced by the cabinet. Previously, the UAE labor law had no minimum wage set beyond broadly mentioning that salaries must cover the basic needs of employees. Employees in UAE can work for more than one employer from 2022. Starting from February 2nd, 2022, employees can work for more than one employer in the UAE under the new labor laws announced on Monday. Employees in the private sector can work part-time, temporary or flexible. Besides the regular full-time scheme, introducing new types of work safeguards employees' rights, enabling them to engage in more than one job and use their skills differently. Further models of work, including self-employment and condensed working weeks, are expected to be introduced once the executive regulations are laid out to oversee the law implementation. The executive regulations of the law will specify the responsibilities of both parties, including gratuity at the end of the employment relationship, depending on each work model. UAE revised termination rules during job probation period. The UAE on Monday issued a new decree to regulate labor relations in the private sector across different work models, including part-time and temporary work, along with safeguarding employee rights and introducing new leaves policy. According to the new laws, private sector companies cannot terminate employees during probation without a 14-day written notice. As per the new labor laws that will be effective from February 2nd, 2022, the new law also prohibits employers from confiscating the employee's official documents or charging workers recruitment costs directly or indirectly. Schools, universities to resume classes with full capacity in January 2022, UAE announced. The UAE on Thursday announced that all schools and educational institutions will resume classes on campus with full capacity starting from the second semester that begins in January 2022. The kingdom issued the updated protocol for reopening educational institutions with the full attendance of students and teaching staff across the country. Schools had started a gradual return towards normalcy this semester after the recent easing of the COVID-19 pandemic and related restrictions. Oman prohibited special events and celebrations for National Day. The holding of special events and celebrations to commemorate the 51st National Day has been prohibited to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The decision is based on the circular issued by the concerned authorities as a result of the global developments concerning the spread of COVID-19 and in order to preserve the stability of the epidemiological situation in the Sultanate of Oman and the safety of all people. This is due to the consequent gatherings that may contribute to an increase in the number of cases of COVID-19. NEOM's industrial city, Oxagon, launched in Saudi. Saudi Arabia announced on Tuesday the launch of NEOM's industrial city known as Oxagon, which is said to be the largest floating industrial complex in the world. It is located in the Red Sea close to the Suez Canal and south to the line, and it will include the current port of Duba, which is now part of Oxagon. Approximately 13% of the global trade passes through the Red Sea, and Oxagon is positioned to be one of the world's most technologically advanced logistics hubs, with state-of-the-art integrated port and airport connectivity. The net zero city will be powered by 100% clean energy. Europe to invest over 1 billion euros in climate-friendly tech projects. The European Union is to invest 1.1 billion euros in new innovation projects to develop a greener economy, the European Commission said on Tuesday as part of the bloc's transition to net zero emissions by 2050. The 7 large-scale projects are the first investments made from the Commission's Innovation Fund, a new Europe investment vehicle that first called for applications in 2020. The fund aims to allocate 25 billion euros over the next decade for the development of low-carbon technologies to help decarbonize the Europe's economy. Xi Biden talks raise hope for better ties, but strains remain. China on Tuesday welcomed a virtual meeting between President Xi Jinping and US President Joe Biden as raising hopes for better relations, while the US was more muted on the talks as the world's 2 biggest powers sought to ratchet down more than a year of tensions. The two nations were aiming to end a sharp deterioration in the relationship that accelerated under former US President Donald Trump and had fostered since Biden became president in January. The video conference, which took place Tuesday morning in Beijing and Monday evening in Washington, lasted for more than 3 hours. Pfizer agrees to let other companies make its COVID-19 pill. Drug maker Pfizer Incorporated has signed a deal with the UN-backed group to allow other manufacturers to make its experimental COVID-19 pill, a move that could make the treatment available to more than half of the world's population. In a statement issued Tuesday, Pfizer said it would grant a license for the antiviral pill to the Geneva-based medicines patent pool, which would let generic drug companies produce the pill for use in 95 countries, making up about 53% of the world's population. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I am Vinod Narayanan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.